for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest, technology entrepreneur with dramatic stories of the peaks and valleys of business, none other than Mr. Michael Ritsema.
Glad to be here, Daniel. Thank you. You can call me Mike.
Well, Mr. Mike, thank you so much for being part of Book 101 Review. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Yeah, I would just submit that I'm a guy, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm built for a challenge. Would somebody give me a challenge? I don't care if it's ping pong, golf,
Hmm.
basketball, running, or business. I need risk, I need a challenge, and that's why I'm here today.
Yes, indeed. And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Mr. Mike. Thank you for your legacy to the world. And today, let's talk about one entrepreneur's dramatic story of ups and down. So, the dramatic story of ups and down, rather than a business milestones, take us inside the highest high in the lowest low of your journey. What did each of those moments truly feel like?
Yeah, I would love to meet the entrepreneur that starts a business and has no problems and just straight rocket ship. Haven't met him yet. And I started with IBM in the 90s as a business partner, had a good run, maybe got a little cocky, and bought an IBM business partner in 2001. 2001 was the tech recession. We built out the internet worldwide, and then the economy just collapsed. A lot of investment into internet technology and cables across the ocean and so on, and I bought this company. And within, as a sales type, a let's grow this thing, let's expand it. I had to do reverse selling. I had to lay people off. I had to cut the size, cut the expenses of the business. And it was in the summer of 2001 when I was fully into the money we borrowed for the business, the investors and I. I'd remortgaged my house. I had a home equity loan on the business, on my house, and a line of credit with the business. Everything's maxed out. I haven't taken a paycheck in 3 months. I was physically depressed and ready to declare bankruptcy in August, September of 2001. Although I'm working options, right? Talking to other business owners. Hey, what do you say we, join forces type of thing. And what happened, I don't know if your listeners remember September 11 of 2001. Oh, yeah, the Trade Tower uh, planes in New York City in America uh, devastated me. I was driving down the road, stopped in my mom's house, sat there and watched this and thought, it's over. Shut the company down, shut America down. The economy's collapsing. I'm done. But two orders came in from some big accounts in the end of September and October, and we turned it around and started going. Started going. And by 2004, we decided to merge with another company, and a little bit of drama with four partners, part of the ups and downs of business. Worked our way through that. And what happened in 2007, 2008, Daniel? Well, that was the Great Recession in America. In the state of Michigan, uh, 18% unemployment. One in five people are unemployed. This is the automotive manufacturing center of America. And both companies received a bailout from the federal government. And we're just teetering along. And we pivoted the company in '08, '09, started selling technology managed services, basically monthly contracts, and put that train back on the track. So just a wild ride for the first 10 years of the business.
Mr. Mike, tell us, with the benefit of knowing how it ends, what was the single most uncertain moment you lived through where you genuinely had no idea if you survive it?
Well, it's going to be the summer of 2001 when I had investors, but I was the biggest investor and I was physically depressed. And I had a group at noon I would run with. I would come into the office at 7 a.m. And by 9 a.m., I had nothing to do. I mean, I'd called every prospect, every person I could to try and grow the business, but everything had ground to a halt in 2001 for my type of business. I was physically depressed. My wife made me go to a doctor. I went on medication that sent me so high that I was a little bit out of control, I understand, according to her. I was running at noon with friends, so I had 3 hours. I'd go and run. That was therapeutic. But I mean, I was on top of bankruptcy. That was the darkest time. Now, ironically, Daniel, for an entrepreneur, I said to my wife, and the other company, the company I had left, salespeople left that organization too. And I said, had I stayed there, I'd be the last salesperson standing and life would be great. And she said, and you wouldn't be happy. She understood I need the challenge, I need the risk, I need the drama. And so, although that was the lowest point, it's part of the way I'm built. Many entrepreneurs, I think, built this way. Send me in, send me in. I need a challenge.
That's just amazing, Mr. Mike. Pivot, resilience is all in there. Entrepreneurship can be an identity trap. How did a roller coaster of success and failure affect your sense of self? Who were you when the business was falling versus when it was soaring?
Yeah, well, it is devastating. It's punishing, and I think we're all built differently. And I am a goal setter. I am a guy that needs the next mountaintop. So over the years, I've always read books, but in the old days, I'm sorry to admit, it was cassette tapes. I would listen to Zig Ziglar. I would listen to Tommy Hopkins. I would listen to any motivational speaker on tape, then CDs, and then digital audio, but in the car reading books, self-help books, and trying to find some motivation, building myself up. Essentially, you can do this. Make that next call. You can do this. And absolutely, the downs are punishing, but coming through that is encouraging, and I think boosts one's self-esteem.
Team, yes, definitely. Yes. So let's talk about the crucible of leadership and decision making. Mr. Mike, let's talk about the specific pivotal decision. When you got terribly wrong, walk us through the moment of realization, the consequence, and how you manage the fallout with your team and yourself.
Yeah, I mean, leadership is difficult, and I would submit to anybody listening here that as we grow small business from 1 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 50 employees, that leadership, which includes the soft skills of business, hard skills being I'm an engineer, I'm an architect, I'm a technologist, I'm a medical personnel, whatever my specific skills are that I execute and do in the business. The soft skills being communication and relationship. We can work on those skills. We can improve those skills. And so, regretfully, 25 years ago, I was still learning and mistakes made. We had four partners, one of the partners being My best friend from college. We raised our families together, and I could not figure out how to hold that relationship together with the four partners. We combined two companies with two partners. Couldn't figure out how to hold that relationship together, and that partner, my good friend, decided said, "Buy me out. I can't do this anymore." And that's the lessons in the drama of life in business, right? And that is an example where my communication and relationship skills, my leadership skills, I couldn't find my way through that.
Very well said, Mr. Mike. And conversely, describe the decision that felt like wild gamble or a leap of faith at that time, but proved to be exactly right. What gives you the courage to make that call when a data or advisors may have said otherwise?
Yeah, I mean, certainly we came out of IBM in the 90s and we sold consulting services in very expensive IBM hardware. That's how you made money a couple decades ago. And to turn our back on that and say we're going to build a service business with monthly recurring revenue was a dramatic decision for the business, and people didn't like it. And so the highs of selling a big, huge deal with a bunch of profit in it is a great celebration and great fun. But to change the business from that to smaller chunks of recurring revenue was a was a big gamble. It was a big change for our organization. We did that again during the Great Recession, '07, '08, '09, and just started building slowly but surely. And 20 years later, yeah, good decision, good decision. Tough call, good decision.
Indeed, tough call, but good decision. Definitely. You led people through extreme volatility. What's your philosophy on transparency during crisis? How do you decide what to share with your team when the future is frightening?
Well, certainly the pandemic was that experience. And I think that preparing for that, and ironically, in the drama of ups and downs, after buying out my partner in 2018 and borrowing a lot of money, and once again mortgaging my house, the pandemic hit a couple a couple years later. So that's more the drama and risk, right, Daniel? And so certainly the first skill of relationship and communication is being congruent, a parallel line that I can be authentic with you. I'm not putting up facades. I'm not faking it. This is who I am. That is, I believe, the journey of life as we move through life and we get to the point that I'm unapologetic about who I am, what I believe, what I think, what I feel, what I want. Well, that's powerful. That's powerful. And as we become very comfortable with that and confident, great things happen. The second skill, relationship and communication, empathic listening. Can I listen to you, understand where you're at, maybe disagree, be unapologetic about what I believe, want, and feel? Then we can hold a relationship. You want and feel this, I want and feel something different. And the third being unconditional positive regard. You're in a dramatically different place than me. You believe different things. You want different things. I still hold you in highest regard. So, uh, refresh my memory on the question again, Daniel.
Well, Mr. Mike, you did answer correctly. So let's move on to loneliness as the top. It's a cliche because it's true. Who are to become your essential sounding board or source of counsel when you could not burden your team with your deepest fears?
Good question, Daniel. And My advice to anybody listening to this podcast, my number one advice to anybody, including myself, number one, find a mentor. If you're a young person, you're starting in your career or you're moving through your career, find a mentor. And that is somebody that you can just call every 3 to 4 months, sit down and say, hey, I'd like to be like you someday. How do I get to that point? Can you give me some advice? Yeah, find a mentor. But to answer your question, Daniel, it is find a peer group. If you own a business, find a peer group. And in right around '07, '08, we joined a technology peer group. We fly around America 4 times a year. We benchmark we benchmark our financial performance on a number of metrics against thousands of companies across America and across the world. So now we know what good and great looks like. Find a business peer group of owners that you can talk to. And yes, Daniel, when we get in the room, I say it's two things: perspective. I gain a perspective on what's going on out there, and commiseration. Oh man, I thought my business and I am an amateur. No, other people have the same challenges. Find a mentor, find a peer group.
Well, Mr. Mike, as an entrepreneur, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
A friend of mine, Reed Wilson, said the problem with entrepreneurs is they're never satisfied and they always reach higher. That's certainly true for me. I'm a goal guy. I have to work at enjoying the journey because when I hit a goal, I reach for a higher goal. So we've had a good run at I3, and we've hit a serious milestone recently, and I want to 2x it. I want to 2x that milestone. So it'll be, twice as many sales, twice as many profits, twice as much value delivered to clients.
Well, good luck to your goals, Mr. Mike, and looking forward for more success. And what will be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be like you?
Well, certainly I'm a learner, and somehow be a lifelong learner. And I'm pro books. I'm looking at my pile of books. I've got one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. I'm 9 books behind over there. And I'm reading 3 books right now. I read in 3 different categories. Self-help books. I'm reading motivational type of philosophy and theology type of books. Philosophy, personal philosophy, and worldview philosophy, but self-help type books. I read history books. I have a guy at work who has me reading history books. If I look over here, I've got a globe. I'm terrible with geography. So I read these books and I'm looking for places on the globe. Wow, that's what happened, 2,000 years ago. Where is that? So I read history books. I read self-help, philosophy, theology type books. And then I'm reading technology and business books. I read an inordinate amount of business books. But this book right here, 10x is easier than 2x, is really part of what we're talking about today, right? Is
Yeah.
and this book submits that going 10x is easier than 2x, that we're constantly, especially as entrepreneurs, business owners, we're reinventing ourselves. I think there's a lot of personalities, a lot of people. I'm not one of them. I like the next challenge. I like change. There's a lot of people built to do the same thing every day. 65% of the world does not like change. So that's okay. You're built to do the same thing every day. If you choose to pursue self improvement, a book like this would say reinvent yourself, challenge yourself, go to the next level. And I love that. And so every year with my business, at the end of the year, I look at myself personally and I say, what does Mike Ritsema have to do different to move this business to the next level And secondly, what does the business need to do different to move to the next business, to the next level? 10x is easier than 2x. Go for it, take a risk, accept the challenge.
Hmm. Accept the challenge. Yes, thank you for that advice as well as your recommended books, Mr. Mike. And for entrepreneur currently in their own down moment, reading your experience or listening right now to this, what is your hope or what is the most practical or compassionate piece of advice you can offer them right now?
It's very interesting. I think that I would submit, I'm going to reach behind me here and grab another book. I came out of an era when we used paper physical calendars, the Franklin Covey system. And the Franklin Covey system said, I'm going to set goals for the years, for the year. I'm going to set personal goal, spiritual goal, physical goal, financial goal, relationship goals, and I write them down. At the end of this year, where do I want to be in these 5 areas of my life? And then you break that into months and into weeks and into days. And I still do that today. I think in the world of technology, in all our worlds, between messenger, texting, personal email, business email, various systems we work in to do work, ERP, PSA type systems. I mean, I must have 5 to 10 different to-do lists in technology. So much I have to do. And I still use a physical book today and I write down this is the most important thing I need to get done this week or today. And I review that at the beginning of the week. Like, I can do what are we talking about? The tyranny of the urgent over the priority of the important. I would say to any entrepreneur listening, pause to reflect what's the most important thing I can do today, this week, this month, this year to move this business forward. Because it's wonderful for me to get to the end of the day and say, my goodness, I checked off 15 things. I had a very productive day. But the two important things I needed to do that are really going to impact the business and my progress forward, no, that was too hard to work. That would be it for me. That discipline, that persistence of making and prioritizing important things, that's what I'd challenge us all to do.
Well, thank you for that empowering answer, Mr. Mike. Thank you, thank you. And before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen or listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in sixth season, abstract poetry in fourth season, and my book 101 review in sixth season too, comedy 101 third season, and my food 101 in sixth season as well. Geography 101 love letters, movie 101 review, music 101 are in fifth season, Science 101, Sex 101, fourth season, Spiritual Awakening, Trivia 101, Law 101, Mental Health 101, Motivation 101, Entrepreneurship 101, and Bible Verses 101 are my baby podcasts. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. Mike, finally looking back on the dramatic arc, if you could send a brief message to your younger self at the very beginning of this journey, what would you say?
Prepare yourself for drama. Prepare
Mm.
yourself for the ups and downs. I wouldn't change the drama and the ups and downs. I love a challenge, and conquering that challenge is I'm all for it. But prepare yourself emotionally, physically for the challenge that is in front of you.
Yes, people, prepare for the drama, and the drama will reveal if either whether you'll be successful or you will be failure. So, Mr. Mike, can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your business, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Yeah, we are a technology company at i3 Business Solutions in Michigan, in America, and we can help your small business with cybersecurity and productivity at i3bus.com. It's i3businesssolutions.com, the letter I, the number 3, bus.com.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Mike because if you support him, for sure, more and more empowering advocacy like this to rise. I have one more question, Mr. Mike. What's a common piece of a glib startup advice that your experience revealed to be incomplete or even dangerous?
What part of startup
Yes,
advice was incomplete or dangerous?
yes, please.
I think the business plan, the financial plan is important. Sometimes it's just overblown. I think there's a lot of pivot in business. At some point, as entrepreneurs, we're making a choice to take a risk. That's the biggest decision. I believe the number one singular definition of one's success is the ability to take a risk. It's a giant leap for mankind. And for anybody listening out there, yeah, create a business plan, a financial plan, but take a risk, go for it, step off the cliff.
Yes, indeed. So, Mr. Michael Ritsema, thank you so much for your time.
You bet, Daniel.
But people, see you soon.